Ladies and gentlemen, it is Draven the Sledgehammer and my guest, Bobby F. and Blaze. We're coming to you today with a WrestleMania recap. Not a stand and deliver recap, a WrestleMania recap. So, lots of different ways we can do this. We could go match by match. We could talk about our favorites, disappointments, blah, blah, blah. I think we just kind of go through the night and kind of just say what we want to say about it.
Works for me.
Yeah. So, all right. So those of you, I'm Draven the Sledgehammer from Fifth Side of the Ring. This here's Bobby Blaze from Blaze Entertainment and Blaze It Up Worldwide and Fifth Side of the Ring.
Oh, sorry, only one that's not 10 side.
Yeah, not 10 Side of the Ring yet. All right, so first match of the night, we had a little disappointing Shinsuke, Rick Boogs, and the Usos.
Yeah, that, like, granted, I set my expectations high a lot for Mania, but that just didn't feel like they were into it.
Right. So I don't know if it had to do with Boogs' injury, but I expected more, even knowing that. I expected to still be in for a great event because the Usos are one of the best teams when it comes to pay-per-views. They put on a phenomenal show. And then Shinsuke, I always have, and maybe this is a slight dig on WWE right now, but I feel like every pay-per-view, I'm completely let down with Shinsuke.
Yeah, for sure. They haven't utilized him well, and I don't know. I can't remember when they did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he's always in a title picture and he's always involved in something.
Still getting that paycheck.
But I want to just see him used better.
Yeah.
So
he was one of the, I don't even want to say call it a disappointment, but it kind of was.
Yeah. Like, for what that match could have been, even considering Rick Boogs' injury, it's like, yeah, we know he's hurt, but we still have three other guys that are capable of putting on a phenomenal show.
I definitely feel when he went down with that injury that they went into like full panic mode. It seemed like after that point, they were just like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
I don't think they had no backup plan.
No, not at all. Not whatsoever. So I'd say night one, that's probably the biggest disappointment for me was just you had three of the greatest guys of the past 10 years in WWE, and that's what we got. Yeah. So if that's my biggest disappointment, means the rest of the show was amazing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
We grade on a curve.
Yep. All right, so then next we would have Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Oh, Happy Corbin.
Let me preface this by I am not a Happy Corbin fan. I'm not really a Corbin fan, period. I know he's a great guy outside of the ring. He puts in great work. He's very dedicated. But just like ever since his call up, like the first 6 months, year, dude was on fire. Now it's just like,
I think it started going downhill after Money in the Bank. Like when he lost that, it was like, and I was coming around on him.
Mm-hmm.
Just obviously I don't like him, but I don't like him as a heel, like, doing his job.
Yes.
But then the whole happy thing, right?
Yeah.
The poor Corbin stuff was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
And when he won and doing him and Madcap, it's like, I'm over that.
Yeah. I mean, for me anymore on a nightly basis of SmackDown, it would probably be, him and Madcap's out. It's time for a restroom break. So again,
cool down match.
So overall, the match was really, really good. Was kind of what I expected it to be. Drew won, obviously. And like you and I were just talking, the whole thing that made the match was the end of it when they cut the rope, top two ropes, right in half when he was swinging at Madcap.
I really didn't think he was going to go through him. Like I saw him, I thought he was just going to do the usual bounce off when he went through, and like the sound those made when they popped apart.
Yes.
So to people, a lot of time forget that it's like cables that are just wrapped. It's not like anything soft or whatever. That those wires popped, and it was like, what?
Yeah. And immediately my first thought is, damn it, Now the ring crew's got to fix everything. So it's not like, oh, dude, that was awesome. Immediately, I'm just like,
At least it was on purpose this time and not whatever happened to Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, that was...
that was another atrocity.
Oh, horseshit. But anyways, it was... Do you want to start giving some of these matches like a grade?
We can do that.
All right, let's start.
We'll go back and give the Shinsuke match a grade, and then
we'll do that.
Everything
we're doing this on the fly, so
that's how we roll.
Yes, we do better that way. What do you got for Usos?
Usos, I will say, I'm gonna say C-B.
Okay,
right on the borderline.
I would be. I'll give it a C. A C. Rest of the shows AB. So I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I always say being in high school is grading on the curve.
Right.
What about you for the McIntyre match?
McIntyre, I'll give that a B-. It was a good match. There wasn't anything special that made me jump out of my seat, get excited. I mean, my heart did race when they chopped the ropes, but overall, it was kind of what I expected. Just a nice, short little match that was nice and sound. It's exactly what I expected. So I'd give it like a B-.
Yeah, I'm going to go B. And what saved it from being a C- was the sword.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure I saw it towards the end, but
yeah, but
you have to suspend some disbelief, right? Or you're going to be highly disappointed.
All right. So then next we have it was kind of shocking at points. We've got the Mysterios versus the Miz and Logan Paul.
Before we get started on that match, we have to bring up the fact that man wore a $5 million Pokemon card to the ring.
Yep.
Not that I wouldn't expect that from him, but I don't know. I guess that fits his style.
It does. I mean, I'm kind of like, he's walking to the ring and I'm like, what's to stop someone from just like coming up on the ramp and trying to like snag that and run?
Or when he hands all this stuff to the ring and that one goes in the pile.
Yeah, like we don't know what happened to it, man.
That's my famous excuse. I don't know what happened.
So yeah, that kind of, but again, like you said, it's kind of what fits his MO. Overall, great match. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Paul brothers whatsoever, even though they are originally from Ohio. Not a big fan of them. Even though sometimes I am arrogant and cocky, not a big fan of them. Winthorpe.
I will say this, I'm not a fan of him either, but I was pretty impressed with his work.
Yes, he put in the work. So even though I'm not a big fan of him, mad respect. He put on a great match, way better than I had anticipated. Yeah. I mean, he's up there with Bad Bunny from last year. I mean, he put in the work and he showed up.
It's always nice when the celebrities like actually take it seriously and not just there for the paycheck to get their name out there. Like,
right.
I mean, obviously, that guy's athletic, but like some of the stuff he did, I'm like, all right, like you did put the work in. I was like, all right, same as you. Like, don't like him, but give him props for that.
Yeah, so I always kind of compare the celebrities to like the first big celebrity I remember watching wrestle, actually like sitting there watching, was Lawrence Taylor when he fought Bam Bam Bigelow. So that's kind of always my comparison is to that event. And I gotta say, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, great job, guys.
2 thumbs up from OBE.
Yes.
So what do you think about him in the Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero when he mocked him?
Yeah, it's tricky because you have that I'm paying homage to when you're a face versus I'm mocking because I'm a heel. So regardless, in pro wrestling, in sports entertainment, if you're bringing someone up, regardless of whether you're a face or heel, in my eyes, you're still paying homage to him. Yes. So even though it was in a disrespectful manner, there was many parts of Eddie Guerrero's career where he was a heel and did some shady stuff.
Yeah. Lie, cheat, and steal.
Yes. So I was okay with it. I mean, it kind of fits in, and I'm sure some people have an issue with it, but he's in there with 2 of the guys that were probably closest with Eddie than anyone else.
Enjoyed that from the fan aspect as far as, I know what he was doing. Like you said, I don't think it was meant to be like he was being disrespectful, but
yeah,
like the character of Logan Paul.
Right, yeah.
So like it worked. Couldn't be any worse than Randy Orton saying going to hell or whatever. So like,
right, yeah.
We also got to throw it to some old comparisons.
Right, yes, yes.
But I tell you what, for me, once again, what sold that match was the Miz at the end.
Yes, yes.
Like the reaction, I was just like, I saw him do it, and like to hear that crowd pop, I was like, all right, like that made that win tolerable for me.
Yes. So I mean, I think all along, like we do prediction league sports, so we predict a lot. I think at one point in this year, I was up to 7 different leagues. Bobby's probably somewhere along that as well. And in every league that I predicted in, I chose Miz and Paul because I'm like, there's really no reason to go the other way in the prediction league.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, Eddie or not Eddie. The Mysterios, yeah, they could probably use the win because they're still a team and have some momentum going. Yeah. But I just felt like the whole storyline, being on the big stage, it was going to go to them. And I mean, I wasn't shocked by it. So I'm kind of just like you, sitting there watching the end of it and celebrate. And then it's, holy shit, what's happening? What happened? And I thought, at the end of that match, I'm like, wow, this is going to be the biggest swerve of all WrestleMania.
That was well set up.
And I was wrong. It wasn't the biggest swerve. Not by a long shot. So, on a grade.
I'm going to give that one a B+.
I'm right there with you. I enjoyed that match more than the first 2 matches, and the ending kind of takes it from like a B minus, definitely up to that B+. It was, you know, just that whole unexpected heel turn. A lot of times you can see heel and face turns kind of coming a mile away. This one I did not see coming, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I see. I was on the opposite end of you. I went Mysterios in all the leagues, only something for when Miz stole his mask. And I was like, they're not going to let Mysterio get his mask stolen and then get his ass kicked at Mania.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even consider that.
Obviously, that did not work out. Yeah. I had a genius plan what he should have done because how he was at Dominic has to earn the mask.
Yes.
So I told my boys the scenario was going to play out as the excellent match, you know. And Dominic was going to pretty much carry the load. And I was like, I want to see it just in the middle of the ring. Mysterio comes over, takes his mask off, puts it on his son. And just his face out to everyone. And he's like, you earned it.
Wow.
I got some good ideas.
Wow. That's some deep thought there. Wow. Yeah. I looked at it from the Hollywood aspect. Like, yeah, Logan Paul's going to come in.
Those matches you kind of have to.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I lean that way. Now, we do have a cheat sheet on the floor to make sure we don't forget any matches. So excuse me for looking at the floor. Next one, great match. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. I mean, I expected a phenomenal match, especially looking back from when Becky beat Bianca in, what was it, 26 seconds?
Yeah. This match made that, I don't want to say okay, but it made the pain go away a little bit.
Yeah, like I knew then when she beat her in 26 seconds, I was like, there's going to be a payoff down the road for Bianca. This was it. Phenomenal match. Both of them, the counters all match long, the move sets, the holds, the story that they told in the ring. That's one thing I will always be frustrated with WWE is I feel like they've gotten away from telling stories in the ring. They're more about what's said on the mic and in social media. They're not telling stories in the ring. Like
stories gone way downhill.
Yes. This match did that. It brought it. So
yeah, you got the whole last however long it's been since Becky beat her for the belt. Like you felt every emotion in that match.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And it was, at least for me, because I am a huge Becky Lynch fan, I felt the strong emotions for both of them. I definitely lean more towards the heel most of the time from the baby face, but I did. The emotions were there for both of them. Just the struggle of Becky trying to fight to keep the belt that she hasn't been pinned for in 3 years versus Bianca trying to get the revenge of everything she had to struggle through to get back to Mania, to get back in that title picture from essentially that screw job she was positioned into.
Yeah, she definitely has the wounds to prove it after that one.
Yeah.
When we were watching that live, when she did that flip, and when they showed the replay, like that foot came down, and I'm like,
right.
Like, I didn't realize it was going to be a black eye that bad, but I was like, oh, that one, she's going to feel that one in the morning.
Yes. Yeah. I think probably about an hour after the match, I started looking on social media, like, there's got to be a picture of her somewhere where, like,
internet
she's
works
like,
quick, man.
How
one
bad
of the
it
good
works.
things about it.
And I don't think I actually seen anything till the following morning. It was like the first thing I brought up on Instagram was a picture of her like laying in bed with her black eye that she had. So
there's quite a few like legit injuries over the weekend, more than normal.
Yeah. But overall, on a grading system, I'm gonna have to give that an A. I mean, there's a little bit of room for improvement, but not much. They brought it. A.
I'm gonna go B plus. Like I thought for most of that match, we were pretty much online with the way we thought. I don't know if it was I wanted a little more. Like it was outstanding match. But yeah. I would definitely say B plus.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal match.
And Becky's hair turned out outstanding.
It did. I loved her entrances as well. Which,
yeah, that car was nice.
Yeah, but Becky, I mean, even going back to NXT, she's had great entrances, and they actually did it right. They gave them both a phenomenal entrance. It wasn't one-sided where they give the heel or the baby face over the top entrance. They gave them both.
Yeah, Bianca's pretty nice too.
Yeah,
I like that. I was waiting for Nick Cannon to come out.
All right, so then we've got the match. We've got the match that everyone has been talking about because we think it's going to be Cody Rhodes, but then there's news droppings of chitter chatter. Oh, they re-signed Shane McMahon, and then when I heard that,
I felt it in my throat. Like I was like, no,
yeah.
Because I told you before, like I convinced myself it was not going to be Cody.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way he's going back. Money's not going to, obviously I was wrong. But.
Yeah. And then we had Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, had dropped a message about something about being, back in Texas and all that. And it, kind of gets you thinking like, what's going to happen?
He did the internet job well.
Yes, he did. Well. So, me, I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan, so I'm like, I'm not even going to put that thought in my head and leaving. I was like, I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. Then off that, I'm like, all right, we have to go mentally prepared for myself. Shane McMahon. I'm like, this is going to be the letdown of the show. Everyone's going to think that it's The Fiend, everyone's going to think that it's Cody Rhodes, and it's going to be Shane McMahon that comes out. So, in every prediction league that I filled out a sheet for, I chose that it was going to be Shane McMahon, and I did not care if I got that one wrong because deep down inside, I was hoping I'd be wrong and that it would be Cody Rhodes or Bray Wyatt. So,
I think what they should have done to add to that is had Shane McMahon come out, and everyone the crowd loses it, boos and everything.
Yes.
And then he's like, what? I'm just here to introduce. And then Cody comes out.
Yes. That crossed my mind that, like, dude, what they brought him out. And it was just a swerve. And, like, he takes off his Shane McMahon jersey and he
got like a big American Nightmare logo or something.
No, what I was thinking was special guest referee.
Ooh.
Yes.
I like that.
So a swerve that makes sense to, like, why are we letting Shane McMahon be involved with this match? Special guest referee.
That would have been acceptable.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would have liked to have seen is, I know they couldn't really do it, but to hold off on Triple H's retirement announcement.
Yes.
And then have Cody come in and be the reason.
Yeah.
But I know they're not gonna like dump on Triple H on his way out the door.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
they've already done that with what they've done to NXT.
Cody's
so we won't go there.
Like, I'm happy Cody's back and all that, but I don't think Triple H is like, you know what? I'm over it. Just dump on me before I retire. So
right, yeah.
That was just one of those when you always come up with some scenarios where you're like, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But there's a little piece of you that's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, most of us during football season were, armchair quarterbacks. We always say what we would do different, sign this player, draft that player. It's the same thing with wrestling. I mean, Absolutely. I'm sitting there afterwards going, I would have booked this. I would have, put this spot in. I would have done this angle. I would have done, this differently. And that's kind of what makes it all fun, is to start thinking about all the changes that we would do and why we would do them. Not just for the hell of it, but to just explain it. Yeah, tell a different story. But overall, once Cody made his entrance, then I kind of set my expectation high, and I was a little disappointed only on the fact, and I think this has to do with him coming back with probably little or zero preparation of working with Seth. I felt that it was a little choreographed. There was less of a story being told, but again, it was just McMahon's choosing who is going to face Seth. And that was really my only disappointment with the match, was it felt a little choreographed, but I loved all the little spots in it. They did a phenomenal job. And
that RKO, cutter.
Yeah,
off the top was pretty slick.
It was.
Cody had that down.
Yeah,
he hit that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so I was glad. The entrance was a little long.
Kind of expect that though.
Yeah, but kind of expected that. So it was more so. I think there's another entrance. It was a little too long. That drove me nuts, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that match. It'll trigger you again.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than feeling a little choreographed, a little long on the entrance, I get it. I mean, he's been gone. His family's got a long tradition with WWE, so he just came out and soaked it in. I mean, we're gonna be at a WWE event here in a few weeks or a few months, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're walking into the Canton Civic Center and we're gonna just take it all in. So
yeah, some people take it
beat the guy
way too seriously.
Yeah,
when it doesn't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, I get mad too, but
right,
just the way they deal with it. It's like, let's get on the internet and yell at everybody.
Yeah, that or I'm only AEW, I'm only WWE. I will critique both for a while now.
And I will watch it all.
AEW has been leaps and bounds ahead of WWE, and I loved it because I knew eventually they'd have to step their game up. Competition, better product for the fans.
Exactly.
I love both WWE and AEW. I love Impact. I love Ring of Honor. I love New Japan. I love pro wrestling, period. So when there's more competition, we get better products as fans.
Like watching the NFL season, I'm like, I love the Browns.
Yep.
But I watch other football.
Exactly. What's happening Sunday night when the Browns aren't playing?
Exactly.
I'm going to watch football because football is football.
Hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yep. So now, as far as a grade, what would you give Rollins and Cody Rhodes?
I think I'm going to go A on that one. Low A, but I'm still going to give it A.
Okay.
Definitely part of that was the entrance like that. Spiked the adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
It was very choreographed, but it was a decent match. And yeah. I don't think it was that less of a match to bring it down to a B for me.
Right.
So I'm going to stick with A.
Yeah, I'm going to say it falls between an A-. I don't want to give it an A-, but I don't think it was at the level of Becky and Bianca's match. So I'd give
that one was definitely, I was way more into that.
Yeah, so I'd say A-. I'd go with that and kind of be okay with it. Then we had Ronda Rousey, who I'm not a fan of, and Charlotte Flair, who I'm actually a huge fan of. And I was pleasantly surprised that Flair got the win.
Yeah.
I thought once the Rumble happened, I thought, well, shit. Becky's going to lose her belt and Charlotte's going to lose her belt. And I was actually happy that both of them did not lose their belts. Yeah. I thought it was a pretty good match. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Ronda. I think she could use a little bit of in-ring work. Yeah. Timing is a little off, but I think if I mean, she's only had what, like 30 matches, 35 matches.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's only been
she's
a couple years.
Yeah, she's doing great for 35 matches. I mean, she's leaps and bounds ahead of where the hell I'd be at, 35 matches.
I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. So yeah.
Right. So with that, I gotta say I was actually happy, very excited that Charlotte won. There's a few spots during the match it kind of disappointed me, but again, that was just being green, probably not having an actual big match in a while.
And she was coming back from having a kid recently. So
right, yeah. So I mean, I actually expected to be more disappointed that it was going to be a bad match and Charlotte was going to win, or Charlotte was going to lose, I mean. But Charlotte won, and it was a pretty decent match, other than a few whoopsies here and there, like timing related, of course. It was actually a pretty good match.
I think Ronda needs a mouthpiece.
She does. She needs Paul Heyman.
Really, dude.
She needs Paul Heyman.
I think that's the only way they're going to turn her back into that monster.
Yeah, because once she started to stumble and fumble in front of the crowd on the microphone is kind of when they turned on her. Like,
yeah, real quick.
Like she was just like this superior figure that kind of came into WWE, and then like as soon as she did that, I think it was on a Monday Night Raw where she just bumbled through a promo and
she let it get to her.
She let it get to her, obviously, in the ring, and then from there it was like you noticed a different reaction from the crowd with her. But as far as grading, I'm gonna go like a B+.
I think I'm just gonna go straight B.
So the good thing so far, people, we are really in line. We're off just like a hair of each other.
Few degrees.
So I think we're doing all right. And then this was supposed to be the main event. However, few months ago, Kevin Owens, one of my current favorite wrestlers, starts talking mad shit about the state of Texas.
See, I was okay with that part.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, hell, even when he came to Ohio, he could have talked shit about Ohio, but he chose, hey, I got a microphone. I'm going to continue to talk shit about Texas. And he challenged Stone Cold to come on the KO show. Now prior to this, it was kind of, chitter chatter. Oh, Steve Austin's going to come back. But then it's like, as the buildup comes to the challenge, it's all, he's old. He's not going to put on a match. And it comes that it's going to be part of the KO show. I'm like, you know what? I'll take it.
That's what
the guy's 57, 58 years old.
That's what got me when they announced it as the KO show and not a match. I kind of like, I don't want to say I lost hope, but I was like, there's going to be some fights, stunners, beers going.
Yes.
Especially, they just threw me off when they announced it as a KO show and then put it on the main event. Then my head just started like,
yes. So with that, I kind of, didn't want to set the bar too high. I'm like, hey, there's going to be something special that happens. It's WrestleMania. It's Texas. It's KO, who is a phenomenal heel. He tells great stories and phenomenal on the mic. Like, this is going to be great. It absolutely was.
I set my bar super high for that one, and it still went over the bar.
Yes.
That was by far, before we even get through the rest of night 2 and everything else, by far my favorite of the entire weekend.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead now and just give it an A+++++++++.
Same.
Just so we don't have to deal with
same. That. A+. It was.
The fact that man at his age was taking like solid concrete bumps.
Yes.
Like, he fought.
Suplex on the concrete.
It was not, oh, let's, help this legend get, like, he whooped Kevin Owens' ass. Like,
he did. Now, there's a few points that did disappoint me. But again, we're talking about someone that's almost 60 years old that beat his body up for years. When he was kicking and stomping on KO. It wasn't as fast as it used to be.
No.
But you know what? It still was freaking awesome.
I think that's why he kept taking that pause. He'd get like 3 or 4 slow ones, and then it looked like he took a deep breath, and then he would.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I feel that one.
So
I got winded coming up these stairs.
The whole setup is it's going to be a show. They get to do the KO show, and then the challenge is laid down, and we're going to have a match. We're going to have a match with one of the greatest sports entertainers figures of the generation, our generation.
He's the tops on my on-time list.
Yeah. I mean, he's not, I mean, I've got other guys that are above him, but as far as being, you know, a role model and someone you looked up to and excited to see on a weekly basis, he's up there with The Rock. And I mean, that's coming from a Bret Hart fan and Chris Jericho, all these other guys that I put on a pedestal, but up above them as far as just across the board, taking my personal, you know, feelings out of it. No one touches The Rock. No one touches Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not Ric Flair. I'm sorry. Boo me. Whoop-de-doo. Not Hulk Hogan. Not the Ultimate Warrior.
Hulk Hogan was always on the tops of my list. And it's honestly, it was well after they both stopped competing that I flipped my list and put Stone Cold on top. I think it was just like with all his shows, like he stayed relevant, like he did different things, like obviously had his own beer, but whatever that show was, he had Baker Mayfield on it. Straight up Stone Cold, right?
Yeah.
Where you go around with different people, you get stories, and like that was awesome.
Yes.
Like it was still kind of wrestling-ish, but it was like you could just see like different views on that stuff from a wrestler, which is the quickest way to get my attention. Like if there's a commercial, you know, Subway commercial with Steph Curry, I'm like, ooh, if I'm watching a Subway commercial and I see like The Rock, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this one. Like, that's the quickest way to throw me in. Yeah.
So we have a icon from, I mean, even outside of wrestling, if you don't watch wrestling, sucks to be you, but still, if you don't watch wrestling, you know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Yeah.
You know what he's all about, and you know what he's doing. Anyways, I set my expectation to it's going to be him come out, jibber jabber, something happens, and he stuns Owens, has some beers. That's what I set myself up for. However, completely blows the roof off. And that's an understatement. That's an understatement. I mean, just for not wrestling in so many years, coming out and putting on that match.
19?
Yeah, 19 years he hasn't wrestled. So that is half my life ago. And I struggle going up 3 flights of stairs now. And this dude walked out in front of 77,000 people.
Did that work.
And did this. Man, tip of the hat to you. And then not only doing that, but doing it at the level he did.
Yeah.
Like,
for a while. That match was a while.
Yeah. Like it was a solid match. It wasn't just like, oh, we're going to do this 3-minute thing and it'll be over with. No, he put it in. He put it in.
He put in that work.
And it wasn't just him stomping a mud hole in KO. It was back and forth.
Yeah.
And it was a phenomenal match. But we knew all along who was actually going to win this thing.
I'll tell you what, when Owens hit that stunner, the little voice in the back of my head was about to walk out of my own house because I thought that was it. I told my friends ahead of time, I was like, there's a few matches during this event, like if they don't go the way I like, I'm leaving. They're like, it's your house. I'm like, I don't care. And then when he hit that stunner, I had actually gotten out of my seat and then he kicked out. And I was like, all right, let me sit back down. Watch the rest of the show.
Afterwards, not during, but afterwards, same spot that Bobby's talking about. I think it would have been cool seeing how KO's kind of, I'm a KO fan, so maybe this is a little out of line, but I think KO, if there's a modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin with the attitude, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
For sure.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. It's KO.
He's definitely the closest thing.
So I had thought, man, if there was ever a passing of the torch moment from a previous legend to a current wrestler, that would have been it.
Especially since he's been using the stunner for the last few years.
Yeah, so letting him stun Stone Cold Steve Austin with his own move and then take the 3 count for it. Man, what an amazing passing of the torch. However, 77,395 of the people would have been pissed. Like the 5 KO fans that were actually there would have been okay with it, but most of the fans would have been pissed. That's a pipe dream, however.
Yeah.
We knew Stone Cold was going to win this, and he did. And not only did he just win the match, afterwards, he was chugging beers. It was awesome. I thought nothing night 2 is going to happen that can hold a candle to night 1. Like, why even bother watching it at this point, right?
Well, as you guys will find out soon, we were both disappointed in that aspect because it was just as good.
Yes. All right, guys, that finishes up night 1. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back, and we're going to be talking about night 2.